All right, it's week 3. It's Vikings hosting the Los Angeles Superchargers noon tomorrow. It's not a secret that this is pretty close to a must-win. Um, it's not do or die totally, but they put up. You see the statistics every year. Teams that start 0-2, how many of them make the playoffs? Now, these numbers all exist from data from 30 plus years of a 16 game schedule. So it's not quite it's not quite you know accurate anymore. But and obviously 0-3, the numbers only get worse. So um, and this is a battle of 0-2 teams because battle of 0-2 teams that both made the playoffs last year and lost in disappointing fashion in round one. Obviously, as bad as ours was, I think the Chargers one was worse. They were up, what was it, like 24 points or something, like 21, 24 points against the Jags, and then just imploded. The Chargers often referred to as the AFC Vikings because we have similar histories of kind of self-destructing in big games. But as far as this game, I definitely think the Vikings are going to win. I think they should win. I thought since the end of the Philly game that they're going to come out in this game and be pissed off and really focused and really play well. Hopefully without the turnovers. Um, you know, I would think the Vikings would win this game anyway. Um, because yeah, they're 0-2, but there are teams out there that are 2-0 that I know are not better than the Vikings. I know Washington is not better than the Vikings. I know New Orleans is not better than the Vikings. It just works out a certain way for them. And as far as already looking at the division race, I believe the Packers and Lions both have pretty winnable games this week. I believe they're both at home, so you know, you know, if you lose and they both win, then you're back to 2 out already. So, but I think the Vikings will win. The injuries are a big thing this week. Um, I mean, disappointed. Eric Kendricks is not going to play for the Chargers in his big homecoming. Maybe I would like. Hopefully they'll acknowledge him in some way. You know, and the big one that really could affect the game, in a major way, is Austin Eckler is not playing, and our run defense not good last week. Granted, that was against Philly, who might be the best running team in football, other than maybe the 49ers. But you know, we got gashed and fairly humiliated on the ground for like 250 something yards, or it might have even been more than that. Um, but you know, teams are going to run on us to some degree. But maybe it would help if we had Marcus Davenport in there. I don't know. I, he's out again. You know, there's been a lot of Kwesi hate in the fan base um, over the last few weeks. I'm not a part of that. I mean, even if you're completely out on the GM, you got to give any GM in any sport at least a few years before you can judge what if they're any good or not, unless it's just a complete fiasco. But a big L in the Kwesi column is this Marcus Davenport signing because you gave him like $13 million. You could have spent that money on somebody who's actually on the field. This guy didn't play at all in the preseason. Like the Thursday or Friday before week one, he shows up on the injury report with an ankle thing. Doesn't play against Tampa. He played a couple snaps against Philly, and now 10 days later, he's out again. And he was a guy that had an injury history. I mean, that's gonna go down as just a terrible signing. I mean, you still hope that maybe he can be like the reverse of Zadarius Smith, who's we got Zadarius Smith. There was an injury thing. He was on the field a lot early last season, very productive, and then he got banged up and was basically a non-factor late in the season. Maybe you hope that Davenport could kind of do the opposite, but players don't get less injured during the year, and so very disappointed with him. You know, and I'm not disappointed with him, just disappointed with the circumstances there. But Garrett Bradbury is, I believe, questionable to start. But that means that Christian Darrisaw is not on the injury report, so presumably he's good to go now, which is huge because, I mean, obviously he's one of the best left tackles in football. Dalton Reisner, they did not exactly say whether or not he's going to play or start. I mean, if he's going to play, he's probably going to start because they don't usually mix up linemen during a game. So we'll see what happens there. I would think he'd at least be active. Cam Akers apparently is not going to play. I don't know necessarily why it takes him longer. I saw that after we made the trade for Akers, I believe Cleveland signed Kareem Hunt, and Kareem Hunt's going to play. So I don't know why we can't get Akers out there. I mean, he would be a minor factor in the game, but still questionable. But beyond that, injuries, nothing significant. They put Jalen Naylor on the IR to make room on the roster for Akers. Yeah, I mean, this, the big thing with this game is going to be get rid of these turnovers. Don't put the fucking ball on the floor. And I don't think they will. I don't think this, you don't suddenly become a turnover machine overnight. It's a lot of it's fluky stuff, but it still counts even if it's fluky. So I think if they just kind of get out of their own way, they should be fine. Chargers probably thinking the same thing. Chargers have dropped a couple games. I know they lost an OT to the Titans. I don't even remember who they lost to in week 1, but I think it was a close game too. So they're probably thinking they could be 2-0, and they're in a little different situation because their coach might be in a little bit of danger of potentially getting fired if their season kind of goes off the rails. But I believe this is the first time we faced Justin Herbert. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Or no, we might have faced him actually. I forget what season we played the Chargers last. I think it was 21. So yeah, I think we did play Herbert then, and we beat him in LA, which is of course never LA home game because LA teams don't draw fans. The road teams draw fans. Like that Rams 49ers game last week was ridiculous. It was like almost all 49er fans. I actually saw some Charger fans milling about Target Field last night, so they're in town. But I don't think there's going to be a huge amount of LA fans at the game. Kyle Rudolph, they're going to be saluting him because he retired this week as a Viking. Guessing he'll probably blow the Galler horn. But this just has to be a win. It has to be a win. Sorry, it has to be a win. I'm not going to be like completely like it's all over if they lose this game because again, I just I still think they're good enough to rattle off a bunch of wins, and it's a division that no one's going to run away with. But that being said, you do have to win some games in order to make that possible, and I think they will win. I wouldn't actually be shocked if this is a convincing Vikings win. It's probably more likely that it'll be close and we'll all be stressed out late in the fourth quarter, but I wouldn't be totally shocked if the Vikings were able to win this game somewhat convincingly. And we'll see what they use the mini bye for to kind of fine tune some stuff. I mean, like the offense has been great for the most part. Just the turnovers. It's just you you can't take the turnovers away, but if you did take the turnovers away, we're 2-0. But you know, the defense has been, I think, adequate more than last year. But that run defense, you know, and a lot of that's the the turnovers putting you behind, and then other teams don't have to throw the ball; they can just run it down your throat, and that's what's been happening. So hopefully they can turn that around a little bit this week. I mean, not every team's gonna be able to do what Philly does. We got to play like the 49ers in a few weeks. That's going to be very rough if we can't get some improvement there. But what else? Anything else with the game? I don't think there were any other stories this week. Kind of a quiet week other than the two signings. So, and I expect a big game from Kirk, big game from JJ again. We'll see if we can get our running game going too. I mean, I guess if Cam Akers isn't playing, but maybe Madison will be a little extra motivated now that he's, I don't think they acquired Akers to replace Madison. I just think they got him to be, another option. But Madison has not been good for 2 games, and he's got to step it up too. And maybe he will. Maybe this will be his breakout game. But Vikings win. That's my prediction. I'm going to say like 30-24. So not, but maybe one of the scores for the Chargers is late. Maybe we're up. I do think they'll win. I think they'll finally play a pretty clean game, and I think we'll see that when this Vikings team does play a clean game, that they are very, very good, and they can beat good teams. And I think even the Chargers are still a decent team. But so that's all I have to say about that. Let's get that first dub.